Hi, y'all. This is Nina, and you're watching Southern Digest. This is Saturday, August 5th, 2023, and today, in over 300 locations across the United States, an event was taking place at local libraries. It was called See You at the Library, and it was promoted by Brave Books, a publisher that makes children's books that uphold values like faith, freedom, courage, kindness, things you think you couldn't argue about, right? Well, apparently some people can, because there is more to this story, and I'm here to tell you what I witnessed at my location. Now, I only found out about this event about a week ago, so I looked right away to see if it was happening in my area because I wanted to volunteer. And imagine my surprise when, as I did my research and was looking, I found a Fox News article about a group in my area called Moms for Liberty who had already booked a room at our local library and were looking forward to hosting the event here in Madison County, Alabama. And they had gotten an email telling them that coming to our event were Kirk and Riley Gaines. Well, as you can imagine, once that Fox News article got out in particular, there was a real buzz in the community and lots of people were wanting to come, which was great. But also coming, we found out, were going to be a group of protesters from the Birmingham area, which is a little bit south of us. And after it was discovered the protesters were coming, suddenly the library told Moms for Liberty that they were canceling the event. This was 2 days before the event took place. And it was because they just didn't have the capacity. Well, Moms for Liberty offered a lot of different options. We could have it outside where it wouldn't matter how many we had. The library said, no, you need a permit for that, and it's too late for you to get one. They said, well, we could do it inside. The room that you said you'd let us have holds 300. And suddenly the library says, no, you can't have more than 225 in that room. And Moms for Liberty said, well, we can rotate people in and out of it, so there's never more than 225 in it. The library said, no, we're canceling it. Now, do you think that was about capacity? Moms for Liberty don't think so. But they did what any sane Christian group would do. They got on their knees and started praying. And sure enough, one church in our city, I'm sorry to say only one, but one church in our city stepped up and said, you can come here. That church is The Rock, and they had room for 1,000 in their auditorium. Well, this was great, but of course, the idea was to have it in a library so that we could start promoting the values in our community in our library. So they kept on praying and asked God to make it happen. And Brave Books, when they found out, wrote a letter from their legal team letting the library know that they were violating the First Amendment rights of their client. And if they did not cease and desist and reverse their decision by noon on Friday, which was yesterday, that they were going to take legal action against the library. Well, the library did reverse their decision just yesterday. But they told Moms for Liberty, you can only have 225 people in the room. Now let me tell you the little side story that happened. Moms for Liberty normally meets on a Thursday, and they normally meet in a church. But for whatever reason, this time they couldn't meet in the church, so they booked the room in the library where the event would be taking place on Saturday. And while they were in that room, they noticed that there was a new sign on the wall, a paper sign, that had printed on it, here's what the fire department says the capacity for this room is. And basically, it was about 300 people. But it was taped to the wall over a permanent sign. And when they peeled it away, the permanent sign said that the maximum capacity for the room was 361 people. Still think it's about capacity? Yeah, Moms for Liberty doesn't either. Well, I arrived this morning for the event, and I did see protesters. Thankfully, the police would not allow them to be near the door, which is where they tried to be, because then every family coming in would have had to run the gauntlet of that. But the police said, no, you must move to the sidewalk next to the road. And the families were all lined up in the parking lot, so it never turned into any kind of confrontation or a problem. Now, Moms for Liberty sent me over to the Rock because that's where all the overflow crowd was going, and they knew there was going to be a lot of people there, and they needed lots of volunteers there. So I went to the Rock, and we waited there, and eventually the organizers for the event came over to the Rock. So did Kirk and Riley Gaines. While they were reading to the children, we were hearing from the organizers what had happened over at the Madison Public Library. And one thing they told us was we had a full crowd, 225. We limited it to that in the room, in the very hot room, because the air conditioning was not running in the room. I asked them if it was broken down in that room, and they said no, someone had turned it off. Another coincidence? You be the judge. At any rate, at the Rock, it looked to me like we had about 250, maybe 275 people. That's a conservative estimate. So I think all told, we had at least 500 people at the event. It was a huge, huge success. And it was really wonderful to see. The kids were there. They loved it. We had popsicles for them. They got coloring books. And they said the Pledge of Allegiance and sang God Bless America. We had a great time. And I hope next year, when they have this event again across the country, that you'll be able to go to your local library and promote the values of freedom and faith. Be of good courage, y'all. God is with us. We are not alone.